Okay, y'all, I apologize. My camera died, and I'm going to have to do this in two parts. So here's the second part. First, let me just recap. A FEMA videographer during 9/11 was hired by the government to videotape the footage, I guess, so that they could make their propaganda, films. Well, this guy, who was highly intelligent, started seeing things that did not add up, and he recorded, I don't know, like 30 videos. And he came across things that he was very concerned about, that he thought the government was being less than honest of. And 3.5 months later, his wife, quote unquote, committed suicide after he started voicing to people, the things that he saw. So then he went into exile. He's hiding in Argentina because they don't extradite in capital punishment cases. So he's hiding out there. So this is an exclusive interview. His name is Kirk Sonnenfeld, 911 FEMA videographer at Ground Zero goes public. And the last I heard, he was still in possession of some of these videos. So let's read part of this interview. As official videographer from the U.S. government, Kirk Sonnenfeld was detailed to Ground Zero on September 11, 2001, where he spent an entire month filming. He says, "What I saw at certain moments and in certain places is very disturbing!" Exclamation point. He's never handed his 29 tapes over to the authorities and has been persecuted ever since. Kirk Sonnenfeld lives in exile in Argentina, where he wrote The Persecuted. He recently published book tells the story of his unending nightmare and drives another nail into the coffin of the government's account of the 9/11 events. Below is an exclusive interview by Voltaire Network. So it's a picture that says Kirk Sonnenfeld with an unidentified search and rescue specialist at subterranean void beneath Ground Zero. So I don't think you're going to see it, but y'all need to go Google this. Okay, so I don't know. Can y'all see his picture? Nice looking guy. Kirk Sonnenfeld, I don't mean to be going by what you look like, but educated, good looking, articulate, and now on the run from his own government. Kirk Sonnenfeld graduated from the University of Colorado with the studies in international affairs and economics, as well as in literature and philosophy. Highly intelligent guy. He worked for the United States government as an official videographer and served as director of broadcast operations for the Federal Emergency Management Agency's National Emergency Response Team. Additionally, Kirk Sonnenfeld was contracted by several other government agencies and programs for classified and sensitive operations at military and scientific installations throughout the United States. On September 11, 2001, the area known as Ground Zero was sealed off from the public eye. Sonnenfeld, however, was given unrestricted access, enabling him to document further investigation that never took place and provide some sanitized pool video to virtually every news network in the world. The tapes that reveal some of the anomalies which he discovered at Ground Zero are still in his possession. Accused of a crime that did not occur in a manifest frame-up scenario, especially in light of ensuing events, Kirk Sonnenfeld has been persecuted across continents. After several years of fear, injustice, and isolation, he has decided to take a public stand against the U.S. government's official story and is prepared to submit his material to the close scrutiny of reliable experts. Can you imagine if you got hired by the U.S. government, you think you're going to go be a do-gooder and you're going to go film this and your intentions are pure, you're pro-government, and you get there and you start seeing things that don't make sense and you're having to record this? The stress that must be underneath on you? So here we go. Kirk Sonnenfeld. Although it is an autobiographical, it is not my entire life story. He's talking about his book. Rather, it is a history of the extraordinary events that have happened to me and my family at the hands of U.S. authorities over the course of more than 7 years, spanning 2 hemispheres after my tour of duty at Ground Zero and becoming an inconvenient witness. And so they asked the question, the network asked the question, you explained that your request for refugee status within the terms of the Geneva 1951 Convention is still being considered by the Argentine Senate, while in 2005 you were granted political asylum, albeit on a provisional basis. That probably makes you the first U.S. citizen in that situation, and no doubt the first U.S. government official with direct exposure to the events surrounding 9/11, who has blown the whistle. Is this what drove you into exile? Kirk Sonnenfeld says, a refugee is a person who has been forced to leave or stay away from his country for reasons of persecution. It's undeniable that many people have been persecuted unfairly as a result of the quasi-fascist laws and police brought about by the shock of 9/11, and they deserve refugee status. But the fact is, requesting refugee status is a risky and dangerous step to take. America is the world's only remaining superpower, and dissent has been effectively repressed. Any person who requests refugee status on a political grounds is by nature making an extreme statement of dissent. If your request is denied, what do? Once you make that request, there can be no going back. Personally, I wasn't forced to leave the United States, and I certainly did not flee. At the time, I was still fairly oblivious to what was actually brewing against me. I hadn't connected all the dots yet, so that when I left in 2003, I had every intention of returning back. I came to Argentina for a short respite to try to recuperate after all that had happened to me. I traveled here freely upon my own passport, using my own credit cards, but because of the incredible series of events, I have since been forced into exile, and I haven't been back. She asked, what are those events you were referring to? He says, I have suffered false accusations for crimes by the government that did not happen, abusive imprisonment and torture as my result of those false accusations, as well as outrageous accusations against my reputation, death threats, kidnap attempts, and several other violations of civil and human rights as denounced by numerous international courts. My return to the United States would not only be continuation of those violations, but would be aggravated by the separation, perhaps permanent, from my wife and my twin daughters, the only thing remaining that I have to live for. And then after the impossibility of receiving a fair trial for a crime that did not happen, I would be subject to a death penalty. So I just want y'all to go look at this. It is unreal. Like I said, it's too long. It's 16 pages long, but it is very much worth the read. He talks about the Secret Service, the Department of Defense, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Internal Revenue Service, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Office of Emergency Management Crisis Center. The network says, reportedly, the underground levels of World Trade Center 7 contain sensitive and undoubtedly compromising archival material. Did you come across any of that? So I want y'all to go look this guy up when y'all get the chance. It is very much worth a read. The name of this article is 9/11 FEMA Videographer Ground Zero Goes Public by Gaia Edwards, G-A-I-A. So y'all go Google that, read, look it up, and tell me what y'all think about Kirk Sonnenfeld. I believe what he's saying, and I do believe that he was falsely accused, and I do think that they are after him like they were Snowden and Julian Assange. So thank y'all for watching. Spread my videos, and let's make truth go viral. Thank you. Bye-bye.